share with me and get to know me.
Working within it so that you can trust
You got to
them.
be able to produce things. And I'll tell you why that production is so important. But before we go there, how do you use those two pieces of equipment? And
success is not necessarily financial, but success is when you feel fulfilled in what you're doing. And then
to other women, they need to know their value, their worth.
But I believe everything that you put your mind to and you achieve, it's success.
Give us all the stuff.
Okay, I'll answer all 16 of those questions right now. I started in the music business at Sony while I was still...
My name is Renee Hastings, and I am your host of Renee Speaks. Y'all, I am so excited to share today's guest with you. Today's guest is the founder of Big Girl Interrupted. She's a life and vision board coach and has over 25 years in the education and social services sector. She's dedicated to inspiring women to uncover what is interrupting their lives. She and her team empower women to disrupt the patterns that have impaired their ability to achieve and grow. They help women to learn to stand in their power by discovering who they are. Her own experiences with interruptions in her life is why she created BGI, Big Girl Interrupted, because she herself has had many interruptions in her life, such as learning to be a mother at 16 years old, learning to develop a healthy relationship with money, and living with a non-visible disability. Today's guest understands firsthand how difficult it can be to get back on track after experiencing an interruption in your life. She helps you understand and create the vision you want to see, live and achieve to yourself, your highest potential with the tool of a vision board to help you create your roadmap to success. Y'all, please join me in welcoming Hazel Williams.
Thank you. Wow.
Hello. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited that you're here today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You know what? We have so much in common. It is not even funny. I saw your bio and I was like, we've got to have her on the show because you're so relatable. There's so much that you've been through as a woman in this life, just trying to do life, trying to build a business, grow a team with, from being a teen mom, same, doing the same thing. We have all of that in common. So I cannot wait to share tips and tricks and for you to share with me, even personally, the secret to your success so that, we can just kind of be iron sharpening iron here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So why don't you go ahead and share with us, what was your inspiration behind BGI? Tell us a little bit more about BGI and where you've come from, where you are, and where you plan to go.
Okay, so BGI, as you know, is a women's empowerment community, and we use the tool of a vision board to help them create their roadmap to success. And so with that, we have open conversations and we unpack all the things that are interrupting our lives. And that can be, so in our community, lots of women talk about, divorce, marriage, relationships, divorce at 40, really building relationships and dating at 40. Because I'm also in my 40s, right?
Right.
And that's a huge interruption, especially when you want that relationship and you don't know how to navigate it, right?
Right.
And we're also in a different time. So there's that. There's also just like the going back to school. What are you doing for education? What are you doing for employment? And how do you really navigate all of that on top of being a mom, top of being you could be a mom to children, or you can be a mom to animals, whatever role it is. But, you know, they're all interruptions, and they all, you know, I'll require our attention.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so you've got to, I found myself, you know, I was a teen mom. I also had my son at 16. That was many years ago.
You did it.
We did. Totally did. And my thing back then was, I don't want to be another statistic, because they had all these, I was in this health class in high school, and they said, of all the girls in this health class, 1 out of 10 of you is going to be pregnant by the end of this school year. And I said, not me, not going to be me. Well, it was me.
Yeah.
And so then they said, of the girls that get pregnant, they're going to end up on welfare, and they're going to be a burden on the system. And I said, not me, not me. And so when I found out that I was pregnant at 16, I said, I'm not going to be another statistic. And so I went and I got a full-time day job and a part-time night job. So I did not I wouldn't end up on welfare. Well, in the meantime, here I go. I marry my son's father, and I'm 17. Right. So 17, married with a full-time day job, part-time night job, and a toddler, a 1-year-old.
Right.
So interruption after interruption after interruption, way too much for someone so young. It was super hard, but it basically made me who I am today, which I'm sure you can relate to. That were it not for those experiences, we would not have the intestinal fortitude and the passion that we have for being successful.
Yeah, and the drive and the commitment.
Yes.
Right? So there's a lot of, we went through those experiences, and yes, it was an interruption, and we know it's an interruption for that moment or those years. But you know, that experience has its highs and its lows. So I know it wasn't all of an interruption. There was a lot of learning experiences that I now value today that I had, like I got to experience, especially with my son.
Yes, absolutely. And each one of those experiences, I'm sure, has contributed to another experience.
Yes.
So like everything, I think everything, even though it may be hard or it may seem inconvenient or it may seem like an interruption, they're all serving a purpose, leading somewhere and making us, like I said, who we are today.
Yeah.
So in this world of entrepreneurship, you know, being a business owner, Hazel, what are some of the common patterns or barriers that you've noticed that hinder women's success?
Money, fear, education, fear of not starting their business. So a lot of women, especially right now in my community, they have these businesses and they're always asking me for advice. However, it's not fully started to its potential. And it's because of, and when you sit down and really unpack it with them, it's fear. It's fear of not knowing where to go and to access or to even ask, the ability to ask. And because we're a woman, we are seen as, we're supposed to know everything, right? We're supposed to have the answers. Everybody comes to you as the woman, the mom, you know, for the answers. And in entrepreneurship, we don't have the answers. Every day it's a new experience, a new learning opportunity, a new barrier that we're experiencing, and we have to learn how to get over that barrier. So a lot of women in my community have talk about that and share that with me.
Wow, that is so interesting because, well, I can relate to that on several levels. You know, there is certainly fear. There's for me, it was more fear of not knowing the fullness of what I'm capable of, because I put these limits on myself. So anyways, this isn't about me. This is about you, people women in your community. But with that hustler spirit and that hustler mentality, it was always, for me, it's always, there's been this drive that kind of helps me overcome that fear, because I want what's at the end of that drive more than I fear what it takes to get it. Does that make sense?
Yes. And that's the same for myself, is I have this drive, and because I know what it means to work hard, and I know what it means to have somebody depend on you. And I think that's the key, that like, if there's anything from being a teen mom, that's the thing that I've really taken away and brought over into my entrepreneurship journey, is the dependency. I know that somebody's depending on me, right? Even though my son is old now, he's 27.
Oh, he's younger than I was.
Older, he doesn't depend on me in the same way, but I'm still preparing for all the other responsibilities, because it's different responsibilities now. He's out of age to have children, marry. There's going to be responsibilities and things that you want him to, I would like him to experience and be a part, and for myself to be a part of. And so the fear of that, and also the imposter voice. I call her Bertha. In my community, everybody knows. I make it clear, Bertha's showing up today.
Bertha.
I name her. And I encourage everybody to name their imposter, their limiting beliefs, mindset when it shows up, because it's going to show up, especially when you're tackling a new experiencing. A new experience, it's going to show up. That voice is going to try to create all kinds of barriers for you and tell you how you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. You're not an expert. You think you're an expert. But you just have to push past it. Deep down inside what you want, what your vision is, what your goals are. And you just got to go. You got to push past it. You got to push past it.
And push Bertha down the steps.
Yes.
Right? It sounded so bad, but that's how passionately I feel about that. Like, no, Bertha got no place here. No
place
having no Bertha today. So, Hazel, how then does BGI empower women to challenge and break free from those patterns and those limiting thoughts?
So I do that in my signature program. With my signature bootcamp program, and I take them through a signature process that I created, and it helps you. We start with what's interrupting your life right now. Let's unpack it. Let's put it all out on the table, and let's really understand, like, what are the things that are causing those interruptions. And it could be small or it can be big, but we need to understand what's blocking us from actually going forward and achieving our goals. And so I take them through that process, and then we look at what are our limiting beliefs. What are we saying to ourselves? Even if it's not out loud, we're saying it inside. And so what are those things that we're saying to ourselves, and acknowledging it and shifting our mind, taking you through my process of shifting your mindset and shifting those limiting belief statements that you say about yourself to positive statements. Creating positive affirmations for yourself that you will engage in every day. And then then it allows us to, like, almost do a deep clean of ourselves and then get really clear about our goals. And then I'm very big on setting up yourselves for success. And that's through our reset plan. And in our reset plan, it's all about having the strategies, a proactive strategy for when interruptions happen. And they are going to happen. This is life, right? We're living. We're going to experience interruptions. But now that you have a reset plan, you can go to it and deal with the interruption as it shows up, acknowledge it, put what you need to do forward and deal with it. And then how do you re-engage with your goal? And that's going to your reset plan. And it may have things like, some women have self-care cards that they may engage in. They may go for a walk. They may listen to a podcast. Like, there's different strategies that fit who they are. And they engage in that, and then they get focused back onto their goals.
Right. That's a great plan, great strategy, great system for getting back on track. I love that, because it's like you're already armed for battle before the battle even starts.
Yes.
Right. And so once you know, it's like you can see the enemy. off in the distance. You know they're going to be coming around the corner, around the bend at any time. But because you've prepared, you're
Right.
not nearly as frightened. You're not nearly as thrown. You don't fall off the wagon or whatever for nearly as long. You get back up and you have a plan for getting back on track to win the battle. And it's not nearly as intimidating because you have a plan.
No, and a lot of the feedback, and I've done it myself. Anything I've asked the women in our community to do, I've done it on myself. So I know what, because I want to be able to experience the results of like the same things that I'm asking them to do. But a lot of them have come back and said that reset plan or having what I came into the vision board boot camp with these goals, through the process, my goals are different, right? Because I didn't realize, these are actually what I want my goals to be. So those are definitely like true empowerment, inspiring to me and motivating for myself.
Nice. That's awesome. So Hazel, as someone who has experienced so many various interruptions in life, how have those experiences shaped your coaching philosophy and how you approach the system that you put together?
In my coaching philosophy, I really encourage women and create a space for women to just be open, be themselves. I want it to be a space where there's no barriers here. Just put it all on the table, like let it all out. Whatever is interrupting you, let's be who you are. And when we're together, I'm not there to judge. I'm your number one cheerleader. I'm there to help you take your vision to the next step. I'm here to coach you, provide you with strategies that you may have not thought of, to take your vision to another level. So that's what in my coaching practice, that's the framework and that's the space that I love to create for women.
Nice. And does that look like maybe like some, I don't know what's coming to my head. It's like meditation, closing your eyes, visualizing, putting things on paper. Like, is that kind of the process that
we do a little bit of both. So it depends on I really create the coaching practice to your needs. So if you don't I journal. So that's the first thing I put out to women as I share, the power of journaling and meditating, because I do those things. But also just going for mindfulness walk, engaging in mindfulness, doing deep breathing exercises. So I help them engage in that. But I really tailor it to who they are and what they already engage in, because you don't want to give them, if they seem like that they may see it as something like foo-foo, because some people right, or they're not ready to accept it, I wouldn't present it, right? So it's everything I do in my practice is tailored to that person's needs and what their interests are.
Got you. I got you. And that makes perfect sense, because what may work for one certainly, may not work for the next person. And everyone has different levels of comfort and different, levels of vulnerability and that sort of thing. So I totally get that. And, as you were talking, it just kind of made me think about, just all the different techniques that are out there to get you to visualize and to not just visualize, but to look at your interruptions in a different way. So they may look like interruptions right now, and it may feel like interruptions right now, but how can we, spin is such a light word, but how can we look at this from a new perspective to number one, not be overwhelmed by it, to not be overtaken by it, and to not have it crush us, but to actually use it for fuel for empowerment.
Right.
So, it sounds like you've mastered how to do that.
Well, I just, what it is, it's listening. That's really and truly, if you listen, you watch people's body language. And because I'm in counseling already, that's my, full time in education and counseling. So I bring those things to the space when I'm coaching. And so it's just, you just have to read the person's body, read the body language, because sometimes people are not ready for it. Maybe you have to do 3 or 4 sessions before you actually provide them with, let's try this. Sometimes it's like I'm role playing. That's the strategy we're doing in the session, because they're not a person to journal. They're not a person to, or they just want like proactive or cool strategies. Right.
Right.
And a prime example I'll give you, as yesterday I was coaching a girl, and she's dating a new guy. And we talked about, like, I'm really big on, in new relationships, creating the foundation. So we were talking, and because of the topic that we were talking about, I was like, you need to create the foundation, because she's like, I really like him. He really likes me. And I said, okay, well, how about, have you done the love languages quiz, right? The 5 love languages, as I said. And then, so we were talking about different strategies, because she's like, I don't know if he'll be interested in that. So I was like, okay, put a sticky note on different places of different questions to see, go to the quiz and pull one of the questions and just put a sticky note on it and say, hey, you ever thought about that? So it doesn't seem like it's a quiz on your phone or a quiz on the computer.
Right.
It's questions all over. I said, when you're on a date, you're going out, because she said they like to go bike riding. I said, well, have one of the questions in your phone and say, hey, you know what? This came up on social media today. What do you think of this? What's your thoughts on this? So then you can kind of engage him, and you'll see that you'll get, even though you didn't do the quiz, but you'll get the answers. You'll start to learn more about who he is and what you are and who you are as well. And it's an easier way to engage the conversation. So it's things like that. That's what we do, and I do in my coaching, just coming up with different strategies to help women.
Right. And that's so great that you provide this service, and that you are available to provide this wisdom, because it can be so hard to navigate, especially like speaking about your client from yesterday, with social media and dating apps, and trying to figure out, is this really the real you? Do you really even look this way? If I try to find you in real life, is this your real life look, or is this just your Instagram look? So there's so much to navigate. So as a business owner, though, how do you feel like, or what do you think about? Because it's not about feelings. It's more about strategies for other business owners. So as they're thinking about their vision and what they want for themselves, what are some quick tips that you can give to someone who is a business owner? They're doing the thing. They're building as the best they know how, and they just don't know how to get to the next level. What kind of advice would you give to them?
One, I would say number one is find a mentor or a coach.
Good.
That would be my number one spot to start, because I did that for myself, and I actually went the mentor route because when I started the business, I had a coach, so I chose to do a mentor route, and the mentor has changed the whole overall how the business functions, and through that relationship has pushed me. Has pushed me to another level of experiencing different opportunities. And so having that person there to push you and see outside of the box, because every day we're in the business, right? Even though we're working to be outside of the business and allowing the business to run on its own, when you're at the beginning, you're in the business 100% doing everything. You're everybody in the business. You have all the roles. So if you're ready to move forward with the next step, that mentor helps you, because they can see outside of all the things that you can't see. And they can see how you need to clean up certain processes and maybe automate certain things. And automation is beautiful. I'm in the process of automating a lot of things in my business, and I'm seeing the power of automation. It's like, it's like a game changer. But also being aware that nothing happens before it's time. So take your time in that process. Don't think, I have to do all these things, because I'm 5 years in and I'm only starting to move forward with certain things in my business. Right. And as I move forward, you start to see success. So don't rush it. That's the other thing. Don't rush. Take your time and learn Be open
Yeah.
to learning is key.
Yeah.
Be open to learning and wanting to experience new things and network. 100%
Mhm.
network. 'Cause your network is going to help you to learn and it also experience other opportunities and open doors for you that you never thought would have opened.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I love the first thing you said was to um, uh,
Coach.
coach, get a coach, be open to learning, take your time. Take your time is the one that really resonated with me because in my business, it seemed that as the business was growing, one thing or one process or one procedure kind of fed off of the previous thing. And if I
Mhm.
hadn't gone through that previous thing, I wouldn't have this new thing to develop and to now make the business even better. So
Mhm.
get a coach, take your time, continue learning, network. Those
Yes.
things are all so critical and such great, great, great advice for anyone, in their business, trying to get to the next level. So critical because relationships are everything and you can't know everybody. So
No.
that's why you have to have a network. You
Yeah.
have to have people that you regularly associate with, whether it's in a Facebook group or LinkedIn group or a meetup face to face, whatever it looks like. People need to know you. They need to
Mhm.
know what you do. And you need to be the connector of them to other things so
Yes.
that when the time comes for you to ask for a connection, they will know you and who you are because of what you have already done for them. Right.
Mhm. Yes. Yes.
So I totally get that. Could not agree more. Because those two have worked very well for me in my business as well. Our business has grown primarily from word of mouth referrals. We've never had to do like a marketing campaign to try to get new clients because our network just keeps telling their network
Yeah.
about it. And it's just, so critical, critical, critical.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here I'm the networking queen.
I love it. I love it. Like matchmakers, being a matchmaker. That's, it's like, okay, so what do you do? Oh, I know this other person. They do this. Do you know, maybe y'all should meet.
Yes.
That's good. And that should be our attitude and our goal when we go into these networking events. Some people get really shy about starting a conversation or not really feeling comfortable with small talk and that kind of thing. But when you go into it with an attitude of I'm a resource to somebody here, how can I help other people, and you go into it with a mindset of helping others, not necessarily getting
The deal.
um,
Yeah. Or closing the deal
yeah.
or getting the sale. Yes. Yes.
Right. It works out so much better. And it ends up being, I think, a more long-term approach
Right.
and a more long-term relationship when you go into it with that kind of
Mhm.
mindset and not about what you can get, but actually what you can give.
Yes.
Yeah. So agreed. So I know we just have a few minutes left. Hazel, how can we reach you? So I know that Big Girls Interrupted is on social media, but what is your website? If someone needs a coach and what you're saying is really resonating with them, how do they get in touch with you and continue this conversation after today?
So they can reach me at Big Girl Interrupted on all social media platforms. My website is www.biggirlinterrupted.ca. And you can also send an email at info@biggirlinterrupted.ca.
Got it. All right. And we have your website here. And you are the vision board specialist. So we've got like a couple of minutes. Can you tell us more about the vision board and what that's all about and how that helps us?
So a vision board is a visual representation of your goals. So it helps you to get clear and you get to see a visual. So when you see a visual every day, you're more likely to go out and actually achieve your goals. And you're the more that you see it, you're manifesting it, you're putting it into the universe, and there's a motivation behind it to push you to, okay, today I'm going to do this to get towards my goal. And having it up where you can see it every day is key. First thing in the morning, first thing at night. Engage with your vision board, and we teach you how to do that as well.
Awesome. I had a guest recently who had another kind of board. It was called an impact board, she called it. And it basically is all those ideas that you have in your head of the things that you want to do or like to do that may not necessarily be a part of your strategic plan at the moment, but it's still a good idea and something you would like to enjoy doing at some point. So she called it an impact board so that you don't forget about it and can still do it when the time is right, and just knowing that it is a distraction from what your focus is, but it's still there nonetheless, because this is something that you feel something for, and you don't want to lose track of that.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Hazel, this has been an absolutely amazing time. Thank you so much for your support of women on their journey of entrepreneurship and being a coach to them, supporting them, providing a community of other women who are there going through similar situations or circumstances or interruptions. I just really am so grateful for your time today, and can't thank you enough, and wish you only the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I had a great time.
All right.
It's like a multi-million-dollar business
of your journey.
Moments in time we can make an impact one
A little bit better.
When it comes to launch, feel fulfilled, you were made for something great. So go and be awesome.